when it comes to when you start making a little bit of money, this is when it starts to get really different. Because if you're like me and you weren't brought up around money, and you weren't brought up around, you know, money management as such, when I first started making 10k a month consistently and had that to kind of spend and be an idiot with, you best believe I spent it, right? And I thought I was the golden goose. Yeah, I've never had a big failure ever, but I thought that was just going to grow and happen every single month on the dot. There was never going to be any downturn. COVID-19 was never going to happen. Obviously, you could never anticipate that. All of these things, I just totally thought this is going to last forever. So if I made £10,000 in a month, I spent £10,000. Maybe I spent a little bit more. I'll just pay it on my credit card now and I'll pay it off next month. Like, you're falling into this trap of being the guy. And you know the funny thing is, when you see like your favourite entrepreneurs now on YouTube or whatever, and that's not me saying you're watching me because I'm one of your favourite entrepreneurs, there's much more successful people than me that ultimately make better content and stuff, right? Hormozi, Iman Gadzhi, like Grant Cardone, any of these people that you like watching, right? Some of them you might hate, some of them you might love, fine. But you see them now and they have holidays and they fly in the jets and they own the jets and the Rolls Royces and all these different things, right? And yeah, I've owned a Rolls Royce, but not one anywhere near as nice as any of those. Mine was a few years old and stuff, right? So theirs are much nicer. But the point I'm making is they didn't get to that by doing that. They didn't get to the Rolls Royce by having a Rolls Royce. Now, I probably bought mine way too early. I probably didn't deserve it. It was probably a stupid purchase. If I could go back in time knowing what I know now, would I still buy it? Probably not. But I did, and that's it. But that, you could tie that into, I'm watching these guys and saying, wow, these guys are amazing. They do all that stuff. I want to be like that. I'm making good money just now. I'm going to go and buy a Rolls Royce. But the point at which they are buying Rolls Royces, they're far more successful than me. And I am at a point where I'm still striving for that level of success, but giving myself the benefits of the person who has already got to that point. Is that making sense? So I am doing what they're doing before I deserve it or before they gave themselves those things and aspiring to that. So when you see, if you're a young guy that you follow me on Instagram, Richard goes to Vegas a couple times a year and watches the UFC and does this and he does that and la la la. I want to do stuff like that because I want to be like that and I want to have that life and I want to be, marginally successful as well. I want to go and do that stuff. That's not how I got to that point. Now, I also spent money like an idiot. So I could have, and this is not an exaggeration, I could have probably £500,000 or £600,000 more than what I do right now if I had just been less of an idiot. At least 500,000, at least, if I'd just been less of an idiot. Not like being I'm still staying in my mum's house and I'm not leaving and I'm eating rice and beans every day and I'm not spending any money and I'm driving a beat up Clio. Like, I could have still had like a fine life, but I could have had a lot more. I could have a lot more money than I do just now, and I could have invested that money into ads and marketing and different things. Like, there's so many uses for that money. You could donate it to charity, right? Whatever you wanted to do, you could have done with it, because I was just a bit stupid. Now, I try and teach not doing this to so many young people, and ultimately you're going to have to learn this lesson yourself. You might learn it in a bigger way, you might learn it in a smaller way. Like, I know boys from Glasgow who might even be watching this, who I'm friends with, who have went and became extremely successful, especially with the internet money bros, crypto bros, and stuff like that, who have went and made a stupendous amount of money very young, and now they've got good money and they have a nice house and nice car and all that, but would go to Ibiza for a week and spend £200,000-300,000 on a week on holiday. Bottles, the hotel they'd stay at, how they got there, the car they'd rent while they were there. Like, that would genuinely be a week in Ibiza. That's incomprehensible to 99% of people. And don't get me wrong, I've went on some mad nights out, especially abroad. I hate going out here. That's not me saying I love going out, being abroad. But me and Antonio spent enough time in Spain together that we have had a few £10,000 days, no problem, right? And even that to me is like, what? You wake up the next day and you're like, what did I do that for? Why the hell did I do that, right? It's just the stupidest thing ever. Imagine that being £200,000-300,000, right? I have friends like that. I know people who have done stuff like that. And I also know people that went, oh my goodness, I spent £700 on a pair of trainers. That was enough to put me off spending money for life. That's what I mean when I say there's like a spectrum of people learn this lesson very cheaply, or people learn this lesson extremely expensively. I'm actually probably somewhere in the middle, leaning towards the end, but I'm somewhere in there. Like, you waste so much money and you just don't realise at the time how bad it is. So I will tell you not to do this. I will try and teach you this lesson, and you're not going to listen. You have to go and learn this yourself. Yeah, Richard, I wouldn't do that. I totally wouldn't do that. Then you start making a bit of good money, and you're like, right, for a couple of months, I'll treat myself. I'll have a few blowouts. I'll go on some holidays. I'll do things that I never got to do before. And then that couple of months becomes a year. And that year becomes 2 or 3 years. And then something happens, and you go, oh, crap. I've not got the resources that I thought I had. Or I've wasted a lot of what I could be doing with right now.